Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. This is Matt with Coyote Creek Archery here in Ellis, Kansas. It's a hot July day, but I'm going to be inside talking about another new bow from Elite for 2022. This time, I'm talking about the Elite Basin. This is more of an entry-level type of a bow. This is the RTS model, so it comes with everything you would see here. I've got a quiver, got a nice CBE sight, rest, and stabilizer. So all that comes as a package on the bow, which is a great deal, especially for someone starting out, maybe for a youth or beginner archer, because there is a lot of adjustability in this bow. Let me talk about the specs here. Axle to axle length on this bow is 32 3/8 inches, which is really a little bit on the longer side for a beginner bow, which I like. It's going to give you a little bit more shootability, a little bit more forgiveness than having that longer axle to axle. So that is nice. You don't see that in a lot of the lower end or beginner style of bows. Brace height is about 6 5/8, which is kind of right there in the middle, maybe a little bit on the longer side, a little bit shorter than the terrain that we've talked about. But right there in a good spot for nice, accurate, and forgiving bow. The weight is 3.9 pounds. Draw length adjusts anywhere from 16 inches on up to 30 inches. So a lot of adjustability in there. Some of you longer draw guys aren't going to be able to shoot this bow if you're a 31 or 32 inch draw, but most people are going to fit in that 16 to 30 inch draw length. Most of your guys are going to be anywhere from 26, 27 on up to 30. So it's a lot of people there. Peak weights from 20 all the way up to 70 pounds. That's going to be dependent upon your draw length. Me with a 28 inch draw length, I'm probably not going to be able to get all that 70 pounds out of this bow. But it's going to be right in there, 67, 68 pounds and get pretty close. The the let off is 80%, and your IBO speed advertised is 315 feet per second. Currently just comes as a right-handed bow, but I do know this fall that they will be making some in the left-handed, so I will have a left-handed option coming in on this as well. But really a pretty nice bow. It's an Elite bow. It has, like all their bows, the finish on it is phenomenal. Kind of some neat things that they do. This is a solid color bow in the green. Call this outdoor green. And then your graphics on the limbs, I kind of like that, where it says Basin. Has a little bit of a Realtree camouflage and then fades back into black with the Elite logo on there. Does have your vibration dampener in the limb, all aluminum limb pockets. We do have a caged riser here, which is nice for a bow in this price range. Just like on the terrain, if you watch that video, we do have options where we can mount our sight in different locations, either forward or backward, up and down. We've got the double burger hole here, which is great for mounting your rest and getting it locked in very solid where that's not going to move. Nice grip. I believe this is the same riser that's on the terrain. It looks very similar. I think the length is very similar. It's nice that they did that. They're using the same riser, a little bit less of a price in this bow, but still getting the same technology that you would in a little bit more expensive bow. We've got a vibration dampener here for our string stop, and option to mount your stabilizer on the front, and then also there is a hole here where you can mount a back bar if you wanted to do that. We do have identical cams, top and bottom, and it is yokes on top and bottom here, so it makes it real easy to adjust and get your bow tuned and ready to go. Winner's choice strings, and we've got what Elite uses here for kind of their speed knocks here on the top and bottom as well. And I think they look really nice rather than just a brass speed knock there or whatever. But I always take these bows and I always get them set up. So I get everything set up through the burger holes and center shot, set up my D-loop, I tie in the nocks, I check all of my cam lean and my cam timing and make sure everything is in spec and where it needs to be before I start shooting these. I know some videos, they just take them out of the box and start flinging arrows. I go through quite a bit of time and make sure that everything is set up correctly before I start shooting this, so that you're going to get a real world feel from that. It may have more vibration out of the box, or it may not shoot quite the right speeds, or the draw cycle may feel a little bit off if you don't go through and get all those things tuned to make sure that everything is set up correctly. And I will say this bow wasn't off by a lot out of the box, but there were still some adjustments that I had to make sure that it was set up properly. And I'll shoot it through paper, and I'll make sure I get a really good tear before I do any of these videos. So I do want to talk about some of the accessories on this bow, because I feel like that's an important part of the package. CBE is part of the outdoor group, which is Elite, and again, the Winner's Choice Strings, CBE, and it's got this 3-pin tactic sight, which I really like. I actually hunted last season on my Bowtech Solution. Part of the season I used a CBE tactic sight until I got my black gold in, and I really liked it. Those 3 pins, it's kind of got a blade style pin and a level, and this is a plastic housing, but the rest of this is aluminum. And just makes it a really impressive sight for a beginner bow. So that's something that's really nice that comes with this. It's got what they call the CBE Arrow Main Rest, which is a biscuit style full containment rest. And I do like this because you have the ability to adjust your rest both with your windage and elevation. Some rests you have to take them and you have to rotate them up or down to adjust that elevation. This, you've got that option there, where this whole entire rest will slide up and down, and you can lock that in. So I really like that. It comes with a 6-inch CBE effect stabilizer. It's got a little bit of weight out front, and then a CBE quiver. And this is all plastic. It does have a little locking mechanism and slides off here. This is probably my least favorite accessory on here. It's going to work, but I don't like shooting it with the stabilizer on, with the quiver on there. And it is a little bit of a cheaper, flimsier plastic, but at this price point, that's just what you're going to be looking at. So this quiver will work fine for most hunting situations. That's something you can always upgrade down the road if you want to. I don't like to shoot it with this quiver on. For me, it sticks out too far, and of course, I'm used to using a $150 tight spot and not a $35 quiver. But you can see that sticks out. I've got a good 2 inches or a little bit more away from the bow. So it's going to work fine. It's going to hold your arrows. It's going to do what you need it to do. It does have a little bit of adjustability. So if you can see those screws there, I can slide it up or down to position my arrows where I want. But I like to shoot it with the quiver off. So I'm going to do that. When I shoot this, I'm going to take it off. The balance of the bow with the quiver off is really pretty impressive, pretty nice. For a bow like this. And I need to look and see. I don't remember what the price of this bow is. I believe, let me pull it up here real quick. Okay, so your MSRP on this bow as a kit is going to be $6.99. You're probably going to find it a little bit less than that, but you're getting a good deal with the accessories, and that's why I brought this in as a package, because you can't get a better deal than that as far as buying this bow as a bare bow and then adding these accessories. You're going to save a lot by doing that. So, and these are really nice accessories that come on this bow. So for a beginner archer, or really anyone, I think this would be a great option. I would hunt with this myself, just with these accessories that are on here. But let's take a few shots through it with it, see what the draw cycle's like, see what the back wall feels like. I do need to mention this is set up with rotating modules. The book only shows adjusting 1-inch increments, but you can adjust this in 1/2-inch increments, and basically it's just how you set these screws. The markings are only there for 1 inch, but there's space in between the markings where you can put that module in between those markings and actually go with 1/2-inch draw length increments, even though the book only shows you adjusting every inch. So don't worry if you're thinking, man, I'm a 27.5-inch draw, I can't shoot this bow. You can adjust these mods to fit you. You just have to make sure that your mod is in the correct spot. So that's something that your retailer, or if you come in here to Coyote Creek Archery, I can take care of you and make sure that you get set up correctly. But we're using these mods as our cable stop. There is a limb stop option that would screw onto these mods, and then you have a rock solid back wall. You can see the limb stop is right here, coming off of the limb, and we would have a limb stop that would attach to the module. So when this comes around, we're hitting this stop, and we've got a real nice solid back wall. The back wall is decent with these mods, but it's going to be a little bit more spongy than what you would get with the limb stop. So anyway, I wanted to mention that. Let's shoot it, see what the shot and the draw sequence feels like, and then we'll shoot it through the chronograph. Okay, so I've got the Elite Basin. It's new for 2022 from Elite. Just like always, I'm 28-inch draw, 60 pounds, and I'm shooting the same Gold Tip Hunter XT 300 spine. Got 125 grain field point, so arrow weight's right about 435 grains. I'm just going to take a few shots with this first and tell you what the draw cycle feels like, what the shot feels like, and then we'll shoot it through the chronograph and see what type of speeds we're getting. Okay, very smooth draw. I feel like back wall is really pretty solid, but I feel like that valley is pretty short. Like it wants to go, so it's going to keep you honest back there. The valley feels like it's a little bit shorter. Maybe if we put those draw stops in, those limb stops, it's going to change that. With the cable stop, you've got to make sure you're pulling through the shot, or it wants to kind of walk itself forward. Now, so it feels like it has a short valley, but when I let down on this bow, it really is not one that wants to jerk forward. It's not like it has to roll over or anything like that. So I'll show you that again. It's really pretty pleasant as far as when I let up. So I'm at full draw, and when I want to take it forward, oh, it's really pretty easy. I kind of was anticipating it there, and I kind of jerked it. But it really is pretty easy to let it forward. So I do like that. But it is a little bit of a shorter valley, so that's something to keep in mind. Those limb stops will probably help with that a little bit. There is some adjustability on the let off on those limb stops as well. So let's shoot this, see what the shot feels like. Yeah, as long as I pull through and keep the muscles tight, back tension, it stays right there, and it's really pretty solid. Real easy to hold that bubble level in the center. There is a little bit of vibration. I think that's something that you'd expect out of a price point type of bow, but it's nothing bad. It's not a deal breaker. Kind of has a little bit of a jump forward, kind of like the Terrain would. A little bit of vibration there, but it's not bad. It's not something that I feel is going to be annoying or something that is going to cause you to shoot poorly, but there is a little bit there. I'm going to shoot it again. We can give a fair estimate of that. Okay, we'll shoot this Elite Basin again here. Draw is very nice. Just make sure you're pulling through, which I like. Yeah, a little bit of vibration there. I wouldn't call it hand shock or anything like that, but the bow does have some vibration in the shot. Again, this is a going to be more of your price point style of bow. It's not going to be a flagship bow, so the shot will feel a little bit different than a bow that's going to be 2 to 3 times the cost of this, but really it's a pretty nice setup. We'll shoot it through the chronograph, and then I want to compare this real quick. I'm not going to do a review over the Ember, but I want to compare them just a little bit so you can see what the difference is between this bow and the Ember. I've got an Ember bow here as well. We're going to shoot this bow through the chronograph. This is the Elite Basin, set at 28-inch draw, 60 pounds. I've got a 435 grain arrow. It's a Gold Tip Hunter XT 300 spine, 125 grain field point. I don't expect anything blazing fast out of this, but we'll see what it shoots, and then we'll shoot the 410 grain arrow and kind of compare the two. .239 with 435 grain arrow, 28-inch draw, 60 pounds. All right, shot number 2, throw the chronograph with our 435 grain arrow. Same thing, 239 again. So 435 grain arrow, we're getting 239 feet per second. A little bit on the slower end. but kind of what you'd expect from a bow like this. Draw cycle is very smooth. You know, the back wall is fairly solid. A little bit of a shorter valley to it, but it shoots really nice, and I think it'd be a great hunting bow. Let's shoot the 410 grain arrow and see how much our speeds increase with that. Okay, 410 grain arrow this time. Again, 28-inch draw and 60 pounds on the Elite Basin.
.244.
244 feet per second. I kind of let that bow walk forward a little bit at the shot, so we're going to shoot it again. Okay, shot number 2 with the Basin 410 grain arrow. 244 again. Okay, so I get the same thing. So we gained a little bit, 5 or 6 feet per second there with a 410 grain arrow. Really not that bad. 244 out of a 60 pound, 28-inch draw with a real nice smooth draw. It's not going to be a speed bow. You're not going to get the high speeds that you would out of a flagship bow, or some of the speed bows with more of aggressive cam. But this is really pleasant to shoot. Really nice draw cycle, and a great little package bow. I do want to compare this to the Ember. So I have an Elite Ember right here. This is my son's bow, and he's 14. And really, you get a lot of the same things. The package is the same, so you get all the same accessories. You have the cage riser there. Basically, it's just a scaled down version. So the Basin's going to be just a little bit larger. I have to look up the specs and see what those are. Give me just a second, and I'll do that. Okay, so on the Elite Ember, you're a little bit shorter. Axle to axle is 31 1/4. So we were a little over 32 on the other bow, and our brace height is 6 1/4. So a little bit shorter brace height on this. Weight is 3.6, so the weight is just a little bit less. Draw length goes from 15 to 29, so we're an inch less on both the low end and the high end of that. Peak weight's from 10 to 60 pounds. So the Ember will only go up to 60 pounds, and 310 feet per second is what we're looking at for our speeds on this bow. So the Ember and the Basin are really pretty similar. The Ember is going to be a little bit shorter on the draw length, a little bit less on the draw weight. The Basin is going to take you up to 30 inches and 70 pounds, so it's going to fit most of your adults. But both are great options, and really nice bows from Elite. I'm really impressed with the build quality, and the accessories that come with them are really hard to beat. If I was putting together a package bow for someone that's starting out, a lot of those accessories is what I would choose, and it would be hard to put that together for the same price that you get in the package. So if you're going to buy one of these bows, the package is probably the best way to go. Even if you're going to look at maybe upgrading a thing or two, you're going to get a better deal with that package option. So anyway, hopefully this was helpful. You can see this new bow from Elite. It's a great option and at a price point bow, and shoots really nice draw cycle. Speeds aren't going to be super fast, but I don't think that's something that most people are expecting out of a bow like this. So anyway, excited to have Elite be on board with the Elite. I'll have a review of the Envision here coming up as soon as I get one here in the shop, and hopefully that was helpful to you all. So if you have any questions, again, you can give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. All that information is on my website, coyotecreekarchery.com. Appreciate you watching this video, and have a great day.